Good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Xavier's Journey. I'm glad that everyone tuned in and to see a good show we're going to have tonight. I have the opportunity of having a DJ, studio engineer. Oh, Wait, 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 wait. It's, who is this? Wait a minute. Facebook came. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. Technical difficulty. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. There we go. Sorry, Lord Jesus. Oh man. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Technical difficulty. So tonight I have the pleasure of having DJ, studio engineer, um, remixer, and owner of the Legends, the show The Legends, and that's Mr. Tyrone Lowe. Hello,
What's going
Tyrone.
on? What's going on, Zay? How you feeling,
Sorry
man?
about that.
It's all right. What's going on, dude?
Nothing, man. Learning to do this. You need an engineer for this. You can't
Well,
do
yeah, it
anything.
usually do. Yeah, I mean, this it is what it is. I mean, it's technology, you know.
And I'm learning it. I'm
All
learning
right,
it.
all
So
right,
tonight, I just wanted you to come on and rap with me a little bit and tell the world
all
who
right.
Tyrone Lowe is, so you can give us a little background of who. So I will ask this. I ask all my guests.
Mm-hmm.
So give us a little background of did you were you raised in church or you know God and it has grown with you now. He has grown with you
Well,
now.
actually, I was raised in church. I used to be an acolyte when I was little. I hated it, you know, to the point where I was forced to actually go to church.
All of us.
But as I got older and certain technicalities in my life, I've learned to appreciate that there was a higher supreme being. And, you know, I had situations in my life where I didn't know how I was going to get out of it. But for some reason, the supernatural came and got me out of it. So, and every
Right.
time that I actually discuss it with somebody, they say, that was God. So I sort of like held on that for years, and then I started getting more involved with, you know, what my Lord and Savior. That's what I call him now.
Mhm.
And you know, I started praying. Somebody taught me how to pray and things like that. And you know, I became a person of faith. I wouldn't say that I'm a Christian. I'm a very spiritual person, and you know, I share a lot of wisdom and I get a lot of stuff back as well, you know. So and God has done a lot for me, and to the point where I didn't know that I had a special gifts, you know. And
Like me. That's both of
right.
us.
And so apparently, due to the fact I have these gifts, I knew that it had to be somebody to actually put these gifts in me. And then again, somebody else said, "It's God." You know what I mean? So, and there it is.
Right. And that's it's so important today. I mean, I'm looking back at I'm 54 and I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna be 55 next month. But I'm looking at it as if I didn't have the pillow of God, knowing, as my parents teaching us the way,
Right.
right now you have so much things in the world right now that would take us away from God.
Yes. I call it negative attraction. You know, before you actually was on the dark side and stuff, all the negativity that you did was actually negative attraction. It became a comfortability for
Hmm.
doing these things, you know,
Right.
doing things that's out of order, you know, and then you realize that you're not really going anywhere. You're not going through any type of progression in life. You're not elevating yourself. And
Hmm.
then you're looking at everybody else just past you. And then you say to yourself, wow, you know, look at this person. He's just elevating, and this person's going that way and that way, and you're still right there. So it had to be a force that's going to be better than me to say, well, listen, I don't acknowledge the fact that people are being more beneficial. I want to be just like that. So I had to
Right.
get humble, and I had to pray just like everybody did, and just ask for guidance. And here I am, you know?
And that's like me. That is, it's the same thing. What you just said, I'm like saying I had to humble my. See, I've done hair
Right.
for all these years, and then I'm like saying, but I've never had a talk show before. So what is this? So I have to humble myself
Yeah.
and learn
Well,
wisdom.
yeah, well, it's anything that you want, actually, you have to basically know the fundamentals of it and actually to accelerate it. I do a lot of things. I'm a photographer, videographer. I'm a host. I'm a DJ. I'm a remixer. But I put my hands in everything, actually. And people see all this and they be like, wow, you do everything, man. Because I
Mhm.
want to. I think that everything that God has given me as a gift, I am really supposed to use it and utilize it to the point where uh, you develop your self satisfaction to the point and say, well, hey, I'm good at this. And the reason why I do more than one thing, because if something else at this time doesn't really take off, something else will as a supplement. You understand what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
So it's good to have more than one option in anything that you do, especially with this thing called entertainment. You know
right,
what I'm saying? So, and then through the whole journey of watching other people, you say, well, I want to learn that too. So you learn it. Some
right.
people get cocky about it because they have that negative type of how they say, stingy. They don't want nobody else to know, because they figure somebody's going to be better than them or whatever, and that doesn't get you anywhere,
No,
actually. Because
no,
that same person that you want to be stingy with, you watch them pass, and all of a sudden now your attitude's going to change. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, now all of a sudden now he wants to be under me. You know what I mean? So it's not good
or
to have a,
or sometimes God puts you in a place where you're above the person. They have to learn under you.
well, yeah, because you learn quality of life, and you find out that a stingy attitude doesn't get you nowhere in life. You stay
No,
bonded because people start to repel from you with that stingy attitude. It's like saying, "Oh, he think he's all that now, so I'm not even going to go mess with him because he's not going to give me that energy that I really want to actually
right,
prosper." So
right,
it's good to have a good positive attitude, and that's the way that God bless you, because I'm about chasing my blessings.
right.
If I can do for you in a certain type of way, I will do for you.
Mhm.
It's not taking the shirt off my back. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's not only just helping you, it's also helping me in a
Right,
sense. You can't think that the world actually revolves around you, because it doesn't.
right.
You know, you have to be to the point where you have to accept who you are and willing to share who you are. And people receive you a whole lot better that way, especially when you're doing hosting, DJing, stuff like that. You know, to sum it up, man, uh, people make people.
Right.
People makes you, people makes me. People could take away from you as well. You understand what I'm saying? It just takes
Mhm.
one thing from social media, and people would just run with it because they want to hear negative things about you, especially if you're
Instead of hearing the positive, right,
right, especially if you're climbing that corporate ladder. You understand what
mhm,
I mean? And
right.
so when you start going there, to be like, oh, I remember when he started. Now look at him now.
He
This,
he he,
but
he bougie now. He
now, but that's not the whole thing with me. I feel that I love what I do. It's a passion. I don't care if you like me or not. But I found out one thing though: those negative people that's negative about you are your best viewers because they're always watching
yes,
you.
they're always watching you.
So you're doing something right. You know what I mean? And not to
Mhm,
shun them or anything like that. It's just
mhm,
that I don't really say they're negative. I would say that they're just people that just don't know any better.
right,
And that's it. I just keep it simple like that.
right,
Some people just don't know any better. Some people just don't know how to express, or try to adjust themselves to
Hmm.
somebody that's trying to actually do something. And that's something that the world is lacking right now. People should be able to accommodate you and say, yeah, go ahead, brother, do your thing, encourage you more,
Right.
you know. And if they want to follow after you, why not? Because at that particular time you become an idol to them. And that's, I would love to be an idol to somebody. I
Me
would love to
too.
see somebody prosper under my wing, really. And that's not saying to be um uh uh to be what would be the word for that, to be feel that I'm better than or anything like that. I feel that it's good to know that you were there for somebody when they really wanted to do something, and when they reach that point of success, you can lay back and say, well, hey, I was a part of that. And they acknowledge it, because they always say, just
Hmm.
like when you're at the Grammys or any type of award, they be like, you know what? I want to thank Tyrone for being who he was, because I remember when I started this, and he said, you know what? You should do this and you should do that. And here I am. I've landed. And
Right.
that's a good feeling, just
But,
knowing that you
but that
actually
feel,
bless somebody that way.
and that also feels like teach one, each one. Teach one. It's an old school. Teach one, each one, something like that. Where
Yeah,
I
I know
learned
exactly
from
what
you,
you're
you
saying.
learn
Yeah.
from me. So it's always been about one hand washing the other. If you're not stingy, if you're blessed and I'm blessed, we both will get there at some point. You might get there ahead of me or behind, or either way, I'm still getting there.
Yeah, but the world right now, the world is right now, and the way that it revolves, it allows people to be negative in a sense, because it's really built to be that way right now, where people are actually repelling from each other instead of unifying each other, especially us people of color.
Right.
You know, Society takes us and say, well, listen, um, we're people of color and we're supposed to stay down to a certain caliber in their
Mhm.
eyes.
Right.
And the only people that surface is the people that wants to speak like them, act like them. And
Mhm.
you understand what I'm saying? And they
Yes.
and it's like they accept that. But what I'm trying
Mhm.
to say is that, unification is the key to all the problems that we have right now.
Right.
That's the way I feel, especially with all these wars going on and stuff like that. I mean, to me, it's ludicrous. Really, what are you proving? What are
Nothing.
you proving?
Nothing.
I spoke about Pakistan and Israel on the thing that they got going on. I don't
Right.
see the sense of it. I don't see how they're actually narrowing it down to the nearest ratio, spending all this unnecessary money on arms where they could blow up the earth 5 times and more, where they got people literally hungry, starving, need education, need to raise their family, and try to actually live a quality of life. And they taking all that away from us and actually taking lives from other people.
Mhm.
For what? What's the difference? What is it?
It's
What is it proving?
greed. It's greed because
And not only that, and the leaders of the pack are sitting back and watching this going on. What do they? What do they? What do they? What do they? What do they do? I mean, they're not doing anything that's really grand. Not to me.
mm-mm.
I mean,
I would think them spending all that money for war could have been covered the whole United States and upgrade, everyone could have been living healthier
yeah,
or with food and homes and improving the state.
right.
And you spending all that money for war.
Hey man, we got people sleeping on the trains. We got people out there that doesn't have nothing to eat. And let me tell you something, man. I got out my car today. There was a man pushing a cart today, and you can tell that he was not really a wealthy type of person or things of that. And he started talking, man. And he started talking with sense and things of that. But he really, I don't know if he accepts for who he is. But
Mhm.
at that point, you know, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I did. And God's my witness, man. I pulled out my wallet and gave him everything I had. And I knew it blew his mind. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
probably saying not everyone does that.
Right. And then he goes into his cart and pulls out a box of blueberry muffins and said, listen, I'm serious. He said, listen, I just came. Somebody asked me, was I hungry? And they
Mhm.
gave me these blueberry muffins. And I was like, you know what, man? Sometimes you got to put yourself in another person's place and stuff. And the world is not trying to do that. You
No.
know, politicians are living on a high because they're used to a certain kind of caliber of living, and they're
Mm-hmm.
using us as a
Mm-hmm.
result to accommodate them.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
always look at the fact, and I listen to politicians because, and half the words they use is not even in the dictionary or in the thesaurus.
Making up their
So they
own.
make it sound so convincing to other people that don't know any better, if they know what diction is. You understand? And
Mm-hmm.
I feel that society is just at a crush right now, man, because everybody is so um repelling. They're selfish now. They want everybody wants to, it's about the big eye.
Right.
And you're supposed to be the little you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So and it gets worse. I don't know if it's going to get any better, but this my solution to that is not to be a part of the world. I'm going to be a part of my world
Mm-hmm.
because my world revolves around me.
Right.
It gives me serenity. It gives me hope. It gives me respect for myself. It teaches me how to love myself. It teaches me how to love you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and even though some people don't accept it, hey, I don't care. That's not going to change me for who I am, because my name
No.
is Tyrone Lowe. You
No. And
understand what
I'm
I'm saying?
Xavier's journey.
Let me tell you, man, when I first started talking to you, Xavier, I said, you know what? I like Xavier because he's fun.
Crazy. Crazy.
You're fun.
But
I
I've
mean,
always
we
been the
literally be on the
same.
phone and you just be like just as jovial and crazy and things of that nature. And I said, you know what? He's fun to talk to. You know, you call me up sometimes, you're going through your stuff. And it's good to know that you can call somebody sometimes and talk about the things that you go through.
Right.
And
And
it's good because
laugh
I go
about
through stuff too. And sometimes when you meet a person, you have a comfortability of actually bonding with them and
it. Right.
talk about some of the things that you're going through, the feelings and things of that nature, without them actually judging you.
Right.
We
But
all
some
need that. We all
because
need that.
some of my friends I talk to, and I'm like, Lord have mercy. Why are you? I'm asking you for advice or even bringing something to the table, and I feel like I'm being judged.
Hmm.
So what I do is I take a step back and I said, okay, now I need to reevaluate this show, this person,
Hmm.
because friends, real friends, listen to each other, cry with each other.
Right.
We laugh with each other,
Hmm.
even and just have a great time. But some people don't know the meaning of friendship.
Well, you know what? Because some of those people just haven't went through anything that was actually intensive to them to humble themselves to really gather that type of unification process with you.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, there's some people that never really went through detrimental things to actually humble themselves. But everybody's going to go through it because
Hmm.
I believe that everybody was actually born on this earth to battle something.
And then go home.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the way I feel, But
But it's good that even on many titles that you have, you still listen to what's going on. You listen to the politicians. You listen to the news to see what's going on. Because every now and then I have to turn to CNN and NSBC to hear what's going on.
yeah, well, you have to do your homework around the world, man, because if you want to stay on top of everything and be able to share something with other people that don't listen to the news or listen to CNN or don't listen to worldwide things, man, I think as a host, especially what we do, we could be a bridge for them to
Mhm.
actually encounter that type of knowledge of saying,
Right.
"Well, I didn't know that."
Yeah.
It's like saying you go to the train station and all of a sudden you switch the 3 train and the 2 train decide to switch lines. You don't know that. So if
Mm-mm.
you live in Brooklyn and they switch and you do the number 3 train, didn't know that, you can end up in Flatbush.
Or mulots.
Yeah, yeah, but you understand what I'm saying. But
Yeah,
it's good to really listen to what's going on around you because it's very important.
it
You know,
is.
you never know what the terrorists are going to do for us because I be going outside. I'll be on 42nd Street sometimes. And I be looking around and say, well, if I was a terrorist, man, I could do some damage right here, right now.
Because
I'm serious.
they're not watching everywhere.
Right. And I look at it because I be saying to myself, you know what? the people need to know the consistency of the world they live in right now, because you are supposed to take that message and pass it down to your children and let them know, listen, this is what's going on. So if this what happens, this is, you know what to do.
Right. Right.
You
It's
understand?
true.
And it starts from the home of knowing that your kids are walking out there and they look and they have a mindset of being ready of what's
Right.
going on out here in the world,
Mhm.
because the world is so different from when we was growing up and stuff. Every 5 or 10 years, generation changes into their own right of who they are and who they want to be.
It's true.
I mean, when I was when, uh,
A
when I
little
was
time.
young, I couldn't walk into my grandmother's house with my pants hanging down. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't.
You get a spanking.
Right, and I wouldn't say that I was an angel, because we all, when we got away from our parents, we was cussing like crazy. We was doing things that was out of the ordinary. It happens to everyone, but it's okay though.
Right.
As
It's
long as
true.
we know that we are that what we do and we accept it, we know that we are accountable for it, because we know our accountability will say to us, yeah, well, I'm going out there and I'm gonna kick it with the brothers for a while, but as soon as you go home, you transform into somebody. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
stuff.
I understand. So
But
Tyrone, let me take you on. I want you to take me on a little journey.
okay,
So when you're going out DJing, what is in your mind thought when you say that you have a gig, someone
right.
hires you on a gig? What is your mindset to prepare you for that gig?
Well, it's you look around you and see the people and try to grasp the energy that they have. And usually, when I start DJing, I do classics because that's what actually packs the floor. We all get thousands of records, and sometimes a DJ is actually a person that's actually supposed to break records. That's why we get a
Hmm.
lot of new stuff. But you have to learn how to incorporate on your set. You have to learn how to read the floor,
Hmm.
and it's about how you actually mix the song, because you can be right off beat and you can clear your whole floor, then you have to start all over again.
Right.
um it's like you're giving a DJ is a person that's actually an entertainer, because you're actually giving people music that they like, and
Hmm.
you're giving some people new music that they will like. You understand what I'm saying? And if you're in a certain type of setting, you can play whatever you want. They might just be open to it. All depends. It could be
Right.
an R&B crowd. It could be a house crowd. People sometimes I've done gigs where it was just all white people, and I'm playing like Foreigner. I'm dead serious. I'm
European,
playing like
European.
A Foreigner, Fleetwood Mac, and stuff like that. And I do a regular gig for my boy out in the Hamptons, and I've played a lot of rock for them. Because they're predominantly a white crowd, and
Mhm.
they come up to me and say, "Well, hey man, you got any Billy Joel?" And I'm like, "Of course I do." And I play some Billy Joel, and next thing I know, he's slipping a 50 in my hand. Hey,
Wow. So
that's cool.
this is house music or it's
No, this
just
is just a regular gig, because a DJ should be able to play all genre of
of
crowds
music. Right, right,
and stuff. I'm so equipped with my music right now. I could do a bar mitzvah. Seriously, you have to be equipped, because if they hire you to the point
hmm
where you say, "Well," I would ask them what type of crowd is it, what type of music they like. That prepares me to actually play that type of music for them and
right.
stuff. You know,
Would you have that music for
I have that music because I've talked to a lot of people. Let me tell you something. They got Jewish DJs, they got Russian DJs, they got Irish DJs. And when you talk to a lot of people out there, you be like, "Hey man, I got a friend that's a Jewish DJ and stuff." And he says, "Listen, we got R&B music too, but it's just not in English."
right?
So if they offer me to go play for a Jewish crowd, I could play that. And
Okay.
they love it, because they be like, "Well, dang, he's a black dude, man, and he's playing that type of music." They will hire you again because you're playing what they want and
Right.
stuff,
And what they're
and
paying.
that's what a DJ really is. You have to be able to entertain any type of crowd. My best
And
crowd is the
becoming
house.
with your own style.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got to give them what they want. You see, because once you give the crowd what they want, they will always hire you, because they know that that's what you're going to do.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I played music where everybody died down, and we go back to classics like slow jams, and everybody's on the floor grinding and carrying on and stuff like that. You know, I've had parties like that for older people, and they'd be like, wow. You know, you playing stuff like Cowboys and Girls, you know, stuff like that, and they be
You
loving
can
it. You
sing
know what I
too.
mean?
You can
Huh?
sing. You can sing too.
Of course I can sing and stuff.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, yeah, you know, um, these are the things you have to do when you're actually a DJ and stuff.
Okay.
You incorporate that type of clientele with different types of crowds and things like that. And I try to say, if I'm going to be a DJ, I'm ready at that moment. When they say, hey, man, you know, this is a bar mitzvah. Can you play such and such and such? Of course I can. You know,
Right.
and they be like, dan, 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 dan. I'm just serious.
I
I mean,
know.
we watch it on TV, but it's real. You know, and this is how you make your money, man. This is how you get nationwide. This is how you go out and stuff, and people fly you
Mhm.
out because, hey,
Mhm.
this is what you do, and
Right.
you have to be ready at any time for anything. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? So, and that's that.
So let me ask you. So how is the okay? So you have done studio engineer. What's the difference between the studio engineer, a remixer?
Well, a studio engineer is a person that actually is behind the scenes of you recording a vocal or something like that. You can later, well, the technology has changed from the manual thing to the actual update right now because the updates are mostly software right now.
Hmm.
Excuse me. Back in the days, we were actually remixing and editing off for reel to reel.
Right.
I thought when I was doing clubs back in the days, I would be bouncing off from one reel to another reel.
Right.
Um, you can do edits with the reels, which everybody still does in a sense. Um, uh, it's like technology has changed a whole lot, man. Really, it has to the point that if you really want to be into it, you have to keep yourself upgraded on everything that comes out because things technology changes like every 5 or 10 years, and you have to stay. You have to if you really want to stay in it to win it, you got to do your homework. You got to learn the fundamentals of the new stuff. You know,
Right.
a studio engineer is actually a person that actually uh, tones you down because everybody can't sing, but they can actually synthesize you to the point where they make you sound good. They can
Right.
lower the bass line on it and give you a little bit of mids, tone up the highs a little bit to create a certain sound with you where you're in sync with the music
Right.
and stuff. This is what an engineer does. A remix is somebody's actually taking that track and taking it apart and putting it together in a whole different style. It's the same music, but it's just a little bit different. They may add a little reverb to it. They might dub it, you know, things like that.
Right.
It's good to know that you just have to have the ear for it, really. You know, and that's how you actually do production. Production these days is quite simple, more than it was years ago, because everything right now is compact and integrated to the point where you can just do it right there at the blink of an eye
Right.
instead of have to go through manual labor.
Okay. So um the legends. Let's talk a little bit about the legends. Why did you come up with the name? How long you been doing it? Why did you come up
I've
with the name?
been I've been doing well. I started off as a cameraman at Bronx Night TV. Um, I started doing a lot of shows where, well, you've been up to BronxNet, so you see the console and everything. I can use everything that's up there because I was taught how to
Mhm.
do that.
Right.
I was taught how to, you know, actually do certain shots and things like that. And then one day, somebody said, you know, Ty, you need to do your own show. I'm like, are you serious? I laughed and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, you know? And he said, yeah, you know why? Because I feel that it will be something that you can actually do.
Right.
So I did my first pilot and I was like, who am I going to get to do my first pilot? You know?
Right.
So I thought about it. I said, well, listen, maybe I might get a DJ. So I called up my friend Frankie Paradise
Oh
and
boy.
he said, yeah, I'll do it, Ty. but the thing that blew his mind, he thought that it was going to be one of those winky dink things where you actually just put a whole bunch of cameras together and you do a pilot. But it blew his mind when he came into a real TV studio and see that it was a real TV studio.
Wow.
And so we did the first pilot, and then I put it on YouTube. I think within that first week or so, I had something like 300 views.
Wow.
Right. So I said, well, you know what? That's cool. Let me try something else. And so I started calling up some of my celebrity friends like D Train, Tony Lee, got a hold of Melba Moore, Jessica Williams.
Sung for you,
Um,
Melba Moore.
yeah, they all been on my show, man. I've had a variety of people, man. Um, and I started to take it really seriously because they all look at them as celebrities, but my whole thing is that they all have a story.
Right.
So they talk about their ups and their downs, and they also share the information on things to look for if you're going to get into that type of craft. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? And I'm not just into just celebrity types. I deal with other people that's upgrowing as well,
Right.
because it's good to know that I might do you one day, and 5 years from now, you might just go up to the point where you might just be nominated for Emmy, a
Mm.
Grammy,
I'll
or
walk into
something,
the
and I
juice.
can say, and I can actually play that old footage back when you was on my show and say, listen, I had him first.
Right. Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if the public wants to get it and they want the masters for, listen, I give them my router and account number. We can work something out. Now, but seriously, if you really want to be in this thing called hosting, you really have to really know what you're doing. You have to watch a lot of people. I watch a lot of people. I watch Tamron Hall.
Me too.
A lot of, like tonight. A lot of hosts that do like night shows and things of that. And
Mm.
you watch their image, the questions that they ask. And if I feel I want to really get deep into your personal life, I would just ask a question,
Right.
because the viewers want to know, and they'd be like, "Oh no, he didn't go there, did he?" And they'd
Yes.
be like, "I'm just trying to really find out what the answer is going to be," and that's what
Right.
makes a show. You
Yes.
understand? Is you got to step out on a limb sometimes, and like that, and that's what I do, man. I love what I do. I
So
really do.
in the beginning when you were starting, you wasn't nervous, you wasn't scared, you
I was
wasn't.
nervous because I was conscious about how I look on camera. You know, am I too? Well, I know I'm good looking. Let me stop it. But just kidding, just kidding. But to be honest with you, I just wanted to see what kind of looking at myself and how I really project myself,
Right.
um, conditioning an energy to people. Make sure that I'm talking clearly. I'm talking with something that really have actual facts.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's called fidelity of hosting and
Right.
stuff. Anybody can ask anybody a question, but it's how you really ask and stuff. You gotta keep your viewers pinned. You understand? Because
And
you can say
entertaining
something.
too.
It's like watching TV. You can say something, and all of a sudden it may not hit home, and all of a sudden they're ready to change the channel. You know what
Right.
I mean? So,
Right.
and that's what it is. The Legends is something that I actually wanted to do, man. I said I wanted to bring back some of those archives from back in the days, man. I've had Anthony Imperials. I've had a celebrity, a host of people that's you don't even think they even exist anymore on my show,
Right.
and they pop up on the show, and I love it. Just knowing that I can just dig deep into the legends, the
Right.
true legends, and I do a lot of DJs as well because it's good for their promotion. And that's the part of me that's not selfish.
Mm-hmm.
My show will get you out there because my show is not only in the United States, it's also in the UK, it's also in South Africa.
Right.
And I get a lot of feedback from all that. YouTube is just one platform that I'm on, but I'm on a whole bunch of platforms. And because trust me, there's a lot of platforms out there a lot of people don't know about.
That's true. That's true.
It's like really, really massive out there as far as platforms like that. But I love what I do, man, and I'm just gonna do it till I drop, man.
So let me ask you this: what is one of the maybe favorite interviews you've done? Give me like two or three people.
Okay, I've done Black Ivory. That was fun
Black Eye.
because Black Ivory. I've known Leroy Burgess for years, and I've known Stewart for years. I've known Russell. So when they came to the show, it was so humorous because we're so used to clowning around and stuff.
Mm,
As you can see, when we did that, it was fun. Okay. I didn't know Tony. I knew Tony Lee because he made the song Reach Out, but I had
right.
status for on the show as well. And
Right.
when they came in, I was playing a mixtape that I did, and I had did an actual remix on one of their songs. They was like, "Wow!" But we had fun. It's I don't like to have boring interviews. We want to laugh. We want to share. We want to humor each other. We want to clown around and stuff. That's what makes it fun. The best, I believe, the best interview that I really had was what's her name? Was D Train. When D Train came to the house, it was like different because I've known James for years. I met James when I went up to Prelude Records because
Mm-hmm.
he came out, he was signed on that label. And he was a heavy impact because his story is so connected with other celebrity types
Right.
and how he got started. And when he came out with like Keep On and you're the one for me and stuff like that, that was grand because what makes it so epic is that they're still playing these songs today.
Yes, they are.
And the younger generation, they're listening to it and they still adapt to it. You go to any club, they still play it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done a lot of great interviews. I've done not just celebrity types, but I've done spiritual
Mm-hmm.
uh you know um, um, shows, because I believe that you got to do something a little bit different because I believe in life that whatever you do, you got to give God his because
Amen.
he's giving you who you are, and you have to give him back who he is because
Right.
he's the one that's actually giving you the gifts. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? But I have great interviews, man. I try to make the best out of them. When the pandemic hit, I was in the TV studio for a while. We was just doing virtual, and I liked it. I was able to tap into people like from way yonder somewhere. I've had people that actually I've done people like in the UK, and all over the world, man. That's what I like about Yard Stream. You can tap into anybody all over the world.
I'm gonna look into that one. Yards.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, StreamYard. I'm sorry.
No, I'm on StreamYard now.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, this is what I use for the pandemic because when the TV studios had closed, I wanted to keep going.
Right.
So I had to find another outlet to actually prolong till things got better. And
Right.
now I'm back in the TV studio again. And for 2024, I got a lineup that's incredible. Some of the people will be like, "Wow, he's still alive," and I
Yes.
love that. I
Understand.
love that. And then the young. It's good to be informative with the young generation because they tell you from what they went through the ups and downs. Like little Anthony came on the show and he was talking about the racial barriers that they had to go through. You
Right.
selling out for you're actually entertaining a sellout crowd, but they put you in a hotel that's junky, not even a 4-star hotel for blacks only.
Wow.
They couldn't use a white. They couldn't go into the bathroom. Blacks only.
It's
They
still
went through a lot of stuff.
segregated. It's still segregated at this time in the.
No, I'm talking about when they started.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And that gives the younger viewers some history of what went through, because these people actually paid for us, man. Even from James Brown went through a racial barrier and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. They call him the king of soul, but he went through the same thing too.
Even
You know,
even Josephine Baker.
Yes, very much. Uh, these are the people that I listen to and say, well, dang, they went through all this, and
Hey.
and I'm like, and it didn't really bother them because they still was hungry enough to go out there and do what God gave them the gift to do. You understand? Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this, because I'm not doing a long show with you tonight, Tyrone.
Okay.
Two topics. Saturday, when we did the show Saturday, why did you? What inspired you to do that show Saturday with the panelists?
Um, God.
Okay.
Um, um, I felt something in my heart that um, I felt that people that's dealing with spirituality should be able to listen and sink in with people that's also living this thing called spirituality. I wouldn't say Christianity because to me that's not a word that's actually in my that doesn't define in my content because
Mhm.
I know people that are Christians. And like a friend of mine told me one day, the only reason why he go to church because they don't sell beer to after 12. It may sound kind of profound, but it's
Wait
true.
a minute, for
And then you
real?
have those that go to church and stuff, and they judging a woman what she has on and stuff. And even though and I be like, and I be checking them out. You seen sister such and such today? You see what she was
And that's
wearing?
not even going to church for.
And then
Supposed to be
you
there
got
praising the Lord.
right.
Hallelujah.
Then you got those that are, oh, praise the Lord, and they drop this stuff like that. And then after church is over, man, they MF, the bees,
The C,
you
the F, the
so
G,
and they
yeah.
call themselves Christians. I'm not judging them, but this is what I see. So I think spirituality is more in order for me. You
Right,
understand what I'm saying?
right.
Um, I did that show Saturday because
And I was very honored to be on your
I
show.
was really and that panel was handpicked because I know everybody. I know their backgrounds. Everybody had their own shows. And it was my way of actually giving back to y'all in a sense
To
and
God.
also promoting y'all in a sense.
Hmm.
You talked about your show. We talked about religion. We talked about spirituality. We talked about politics. The only thing that we didn't talk about was sex and stuff.
They
But
not they're not
if
ready
it,
yet. They're
but
not
they were
ready.
right. They ain't ready. They're not ready. But
We
seriously,
grown, but we're not
now,
ready.
but I said to myself, I want to do something a little bit more different, you know. And people that are really seeking spirituality, I think that would be a good show for them because
Right.
everybody on that panel went through something and they got out of it. And everybody had a
It's God.
testimony about the things they went through and what God has done for them as far as a
Right.
testimony. We
So see,
talk about politicians on how they are treating us. We talked about a whole lot of things, man. And it was a very good show. Usually I do a show that's 30 minutes, but I had to
mhm,
extend it for 60 minutes because it really
right.
got that intense. So if you guys want to check out that show, go to my YouTube channel, Tyrone Lowe, and you can see a variety of shows that I've done.
Right. So let me ask you one last question before we close the show
Okay.
down.
Hmm.
So someone that wants to learn what you have done, how do you teach them or train them to do what they like? Someone is coming out now and they want to become a host and learn what you're doing. How do they learn? How do you teach them?
First of all, you watch other people. You get a camera, put it in front of you, and watch yourself. Display yourself, display that image. You know when a person's serious from when he's actually being humorous. These are the things you train yourself to do.
Mhm.
um I don't use a cheat sheet where people write down questions and stuff like that. I just orally just come on out with it, whatever God puts in my heart. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? If you really want to do what I do or what everybody else do, you watch what everybody else do. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right.
You understand? I'm just not a host. I'm also a technician at Bronx, and I can do anything. Plus, I own my own equipment. I can come to you. I can set up my back screen, my lights. I'm using like 4 different 4K cameras. I can do all that. I got my switcher and stuff like that. But I have somebody else doing it for me because I can't really do it all alone. But if you want to learn these things, it's not hard. Don't be scared to ask questions about it. You know, if whatever you don't know, Google will tell you. You understand? It'll speculate everything that you want to do. Then after a while, you learn how to master it. The most things that I had problems with, and I didn't have the patience was editing. You know, I didn't have the perseverance for it, but I had to humble myself again and said, you know what? Because if you do a show and you know it needs to be edited, it's really, really crazy to be depending on somebody to edit for you, because they're not going to edit it right then and there for you. They're going to take their time, and you know that you have to do this edit. So you open up your Mac or your PC, go to Final Cut or whatever you're doing, and learn how to actually do it yourself. You know, being self-taught is it's a big deal, man. You know, everybody can do it. If everybody in the world was the host, man, we'd be having a good time. Really, you know.
After
StreamYard holds up like 10 people. We can have a party on the screen and stuff.
We should do that. We should do that one. I'm serious.
You know what I'm saying?
We should do that.
I do it personally because it's a passion of mine. I didn't know I can do it until somebody told me I can do it, and that shows a whole lot about how God works in your life. I didn't know I was a drummer. I'm in North Carolina at a church, and one of the brothers said, "Ty, you're gonna have to play the drums tonight." I looked at him like he was crazy, and this is God's honest truth. This is no lie. And dude playing the drums that night, I didn't know that I can actually play the drums. I started off with a little boom, that, then I started doing my little, you know, and stuff. And I'm being honest, where God has taken me with that. I ended up playing for some of the biggest churches in North Carolina. I got a video of me actually playing. I play periodically.
I want to see it.
Yeah, okay, no problem. I've done that. You know, it's cool. You don't. Let me tell you something. How God works, man. You don't know what you can do unless you really try it. And sometimes in the beginning, it might be an uncomfortability. But if you really, really want it, and you really want to get into that craft, man, just keep going. Just keep going. I got a new show coming out 2024. I'm not going to tell nobody about the name of it and things of that nature, but
let's tell us what's gonna we don't need to know that. We'll find it out, because I know.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell nobody about what it is. I'm not going to leak it as of yet, but I think that this show that I'm really getting ready to put together, I think everybody needs it. You know, I need it, you need it, they need it, and stuff. And what I like about being a host is you can actually be a voice for everybody else. Some people are scared to ask questions. Being a host, I don't care. I'm not going to ask you the question because you ain't going to beat me up on the set. So I ain't worried about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you have to be to the point where, you know, the inquiring mind wants to know type of thing going on. You know, yeah, I'd be like, yo, say, man, is it true that you slept with such and such, and all of a sudden now the social media is really coming at you about this? These are, I mean, controversial questions.
That ain't me.
Nah, but I'm just saying. Nah, but I'm just saying.
That ain't me.
Nah, but I'm just saying. There's people out here that's doing things, and being a host, you do the homework, and all of a sudden when you're not trying to really bring them out, but you know, tell the viewers about what happened. If it ain't true, that's cool. Look how they trying to bring out all the heavyweight black leaders. I call them black leaders right now. We got Diddy. We got a lot of people that's in the industry that is trying to bring down right now by scandalizing him and stuff like that. You know, they trying to bring them down because they figure, well, they're trying to be above us right now. So let's just start something. It's like social media is like being on a crowded train, and all you have to say is gun, and everybody
gone.
A reaction. You understand what I'm saying? But and that's what it is, man. I feel right now they try to target people. I don't know if it's true about what they say. I really don't care.
Right.
Because that's being worldly. You
And
understand?
disgusting, and I would say disgusting. Someone sent me a clip of this young lady talking about allegedly it might be T.G. Jakes, it might be Tyler Perry, it might be whoever about Power Bottom, and I'm like, I had to turn it off because it was just so much garbage.
Yeah, but you see, they base people like that on their status. You know, they started from a little bit. They trying to get Tyler Perry now on things. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of time where they try to actually pinpoint these heavyweight people of color.
Right.
I'm not prejudiced in any type of way, but I'm just seeing a reflection on how uh, the white man really feels about people of color. They, we all started off as nothing. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
know how to read. We didn't know how to write. We didn't know how to do nothing. They tried to condemn us to that point where we wasn't really advanced at anything. Back in
Right.
the slavery day, they would kill you if they knew you know how to read.
Right. It's true.
So now that society has switched over to the point where we are now free and stuff, we have really shown our true colors. If you look around in your house right now, you see that the black man has actually invented mostly everything that you use as far as
A lot.
utilities and things like that. But they're not going to give you the credit for that
Mm-mm.
because of their dominancy and their egos. Like I said, I'm not prejudiced in any type of way, but I feel that they're not giving us the props that we really supposed to have. You
Right.
know, they try to poison us with the drugs. They try to scandalize us. They try to give us negative mindsets to the point where, let them kill each other. You understand what I'm saying? Which brought
Mhm.
the gangs because people our kids were living in poverty, and all of a sudden now, to be accepted with peer pressure, you had to join a gang back in the days.
Right. It's true. It's true.
You know, I'm a living legend as far as that's concerned, because where I lived at, I was right between gangs. You know, it was the ex-cons up the block, and it was the Jolly Stompers around the corner. And I'd
Wow.
be walking to go to school, and all of a sudden, yo, man, we're gonna draft you. I'm like, this ain't the army, man. I had a lot of fight. I got a lot of scars from back in the days, man, by trying to let them know I ain't trying to go there. You
Mm-mm.
understand? And I had to fight for mine because I had to go to school every day. I had to go to the store every day. You know, sometimes I got terrified because my grandma was like, I want you to go to the store. And I'd be like, man. So I had to fight. But this is what society has done. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? And, I remember going to school and we had racial riots. They
Right.
didn't want us in their neighborhoods. I remember that when I went to school and stuff, we had to come home or go to the train station with police escorts. They didn't want us there. Why?
Nope.
Because they don't want us to learn. But society got a little bit better. There's nothing they can do to us.
No.
Really. We're strong people. We're strong-willed, and I'm not blaming them for what they did. Is that I'm blaming those who taught them how to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, they grew up in a household learning how to actually discipline themselves to be negative towards us. So you
Mhm.
can't really blame them for who they are. You have to blame the people that actually put it in for, before them,
Mhm.
and stuff. So,
So you becoming a journalist now too, Tyrone? You got a call.
to be honest with you, um, I'm going to say this though. I'm working on the edits right now for the Legends. I'm going to actually, it's going to take me a while, man. By next year, I want the Legends to be a movie. Um, I'm going to have different narrators come through and talk about it, and I'm going to edit other people that's actually in sync with what they're talking about and
Mhm.
stuff like that. I think that's going to be my calling and my lifting and my legacy. When I
Mhm.
can sit back when I'm 80 and 90 years old and tell all 13 of my grandkids and all 4 of my great grands, this is who granddaddy is. They call me granddaddy. Don't call me papa. Don't call
What
me
do they call
grandpa.
you now?
They call me
Papa?
granddaddy. They call me
Grand.
granddaddy.
Granddaddy
Granddaddy. Yeah,
Tyrone.
they make me. When they say granddaddy, it makes me feel like I'm a Bentley or Rolls Royce in their eyes because they're
Jaguar.
consistently watching me, and they see the things that I do, and they give me the ultimate respect. Now they're not all perfect and stuff
Mhm.
because if I see that they're actually going off course, I'm on their butts and stuff. You
And
understand?
that's what
Um,
grandpa is
I,
supposed to be.
and when they see that I'm doing stuff like this, and they can go to YouTube, like there go granddaddy, it opens up a whole different world for them.
And a new
I've had
conversation
not
between
only
them.
that, they'd be like, when I grow up, I want to be like you. I'd be like, listen, man, you don't want to be like me. You want to be above me. I'm just a stepping stone for you. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not forcing them to believe in God. That's something they have to do on their own. You see, I
Mhm.
was forced to go to church, but
Mhm.
for me to actually get with God, I had to go through some things.
The
And
valley experience and the
yes,
mountaintop
I've
experience.
been through some. I mean, I'm not afraid to say that I had a drug habit. I did, just like everybody else did. And I'm gonna tell you
But
one
that,
thing.
but that's what, but that's what I was telling you. That's a testimony. Not
Yeah,
many people can make it out of drugs.
let me tell you something, and this is God's honest truth. Of all the people that I got high with back in the days, it's only 3 of us left, and it was a whole bunch of them. So that tells you right there. So when I look
You're
at that point,
handpicked,
when I look at the
handpicked.
point, when I look at the point that they are gone and I'm still here, it's a purpose for me to really live a journey that's beyond
Right.
my dreams. And
Yes.
and that's why I always give God back his, because he actually saved me. And I'm gonna tell you something, man, that's really profound. And I take it very personally because um this is who I am. I've done everything for drugs. I've stole, I manipulated, things of that nature. But one thing that I thought that I could never live with is sleeping with another man for it. Because that's not who I am.
Right. Right.
And I
Right.
thought about it. I said, you know what? God literally saved me. I hurt a lot of people along the way. I hurted myself the most.
Mhm.
You know, I try to encourage people because I'm a living testimony.
Mhm.
I've grown, and I'm gonna tell you how God works, man. And this is God's honest truth. And I tell anybody, and this is not a lie because God's my witness. I lost everything.
Mhm.
But guess what? Through this journey, he has blessed me 3 times more. I got everything.
So now that's why if you notice, I put Xavier's journey sharing their testimony.
Yeah,
So that's a testimony. And this is why I do this, because that it's like when I started the show, it was all about sharing my journey.
right, right,
And going into 24, I'm praying that I get those people that been through hell in
right.
the valley,
Yeah.
but I want that mountaintop testimony.
But you know what? I used to be ashamed to tell people what I used to be. But now that I am who I am, it doesn't matter no more. All I'm trying to say is somebody else's life. If I
Mm.
can tell you what I went through and I can save at least one person out there, I'm satisfied with that. You got to tell, in order for you to get that respect from people, you got to tell them who you are. You got to tell them who you went through. And you also, the most important, you got to tell them where you want to go. You understand? And it's very important that you do that. You know, you keep it real with yourself,
Right.
because in order to go through all the journeys and the mountains and the corporate ladders that you go through, you got
Mhm.
to rewind that videotape back to where you started from. And I
Mhm.
do that on a regular. I sometimes I call them the reruns. I'm dead serious.
The
I
rerun.
remember, man, I wanted to take a hit so bad one time. I was like, wow, and
I'm
stuff.
not there no more.
But I'm not there no more because God took that taste out of my mouth. You
Amen.
understand what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, He has prepared me for the journey that I'm living now, because I couldn't bear my grandkids talking about, ugh, I don't want to be around him.
Mhm.
All he does is ask me for money, or he's stealing. He's musty. Things like that. I'm serious. Come
Wow.
on, man. I think if my kids came to me with that right now, um, it would hurt me a whole lot. It would hurt. It will definitely hurt. It would definitely hurt
So
because
so
yeah,
in
go
your
ahead.
in your journey, you had the support for you to come back.
I had to support for me to come back because I had to do what I had to do because when I was out there getting high, it got out of control to the point where nobody believed that I can do it or nobody can stay clean and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And this was like almost like 33 years ago.
Wow.
You understand?
I wouldn't even ask you how old you are, Tyrone. Leave it alone, because that was
Who, me? Yeah, I don't care how old I am. You know what? Because I'm 65 years old, okay, and whatnot. I'm not afraid to tell my age because that's how long I've been existing on this earth. That
right.
has nothing to do with my fundamentals of life, my characteristics, my spirituality, and things of that nature. You could be 65 years old and still not grown up and
That's
not
true.
really grown up to
True.
yourself.
That's
They got
true.
people at 65 years old that still trying to grow up and try to be mature and stuff. And the reason why they don't grow up is because they're looking at this person, they're looking at that person, instead of trying to keep the focus on itself and try to, keep the energy flow for yourself.
Because you have to deal with yourself and deal with all the demons in there to get them out, to grow, to love yourself, to
Exactly. I feel like this, man. Everybody was placed on this earth to battle something. And it's up to you to be a winner. I consider myself a winner today
you are
and
a winner.
stuff. You know, I consider myself that point, but I'm not selfish about it. You see, when you feel it's all about you, that's when your world's going to crumble.
Right.
They go that selfish attitude. The great I am. Who made you? Who broke you? It's just that simple.
So Tyrone,
Yes, sir.
give me your closing statement for anyone that was watching the show tonight to be educated, to be unified, to know what to do in your level of work. So give me a closing
Well,
statement.
don't be afraid to be who you are. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Um, be humble. Try to incorporate a circle that's really beneficial for you. Now, some people loves people, a lot of people. Some people are solo and stuff, but it still doesn't change who you are. That's just different characteristics. Because I believe if the world was all the same, man, we'd be in a whole lot of trouble. You
Yes.
understand what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say is that um, if you got a dream and you want to paint that picture of who you are, hey, man, it starts with each stroke. You get up every morning, you pray, and you say, Lord, just take me closer to where I want to be.
Mhm.
Don't take me back to what I used to be, and just keep going. If you make a mistake, just keep going. You're gonna get it. When we start to ride, before when we try to ride that two-wheel bicycle, we was flopping and busting our butts and all that. And then one day, what happened? We're
Learn how to
riding.
ride the bike.
We're riding. Then we start riding with one hand, and then we start riding with no hands.
No hands, right.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, um, find your spirituality, something that encourages you. Find out who you are, what type of spirituality that you really correspond with. That makes you comfortable to say, well, this is who I am. Don't be afraid to let people know who you are,
Right.
because you can be who you are today, and to
Mhm.
next 24 hours, you could be something. You could be somebody else, man. Life
And
changes,
nobody recognizes you.
but you got to realize something through that whole aspect. People don't really care. They
Mm-mm.
don't.
No.
They don't care. But you got to care. You
Amen.
understand? You got to
Yeah,
care for yourself. But I'm actually going to close it with prayer.
I
You know,
appreciate
so
it.
um, you
I
know,
appreciate.
so here we go.
Okay,
So
here we go.
everybody bow their heads and let's go. Father God, we come to you in the name of Jesus right now, Lord. We just thank you for being
Oh,
who you are. And thank you for actually touching this show tonight with
yes,
life and promises and prosperity. We
Lord.
just ask you to rebuke anything that's going on around you right now, Lord. And if you
Lord.
got a testimony right now, Lord, to tell everybody who
Mm,
you are.
yes, Lord.
Always ask for forgiveness. Don't try to hold on to anything that's going to hinder you.
Yes,
Pull
Lord.
down those strongholds and and just be who you are. And thank God and give him praise for everything you do, even the little things,
Yes,
you
Lord.
know. And
Thank
with that right now, we just claim it all in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
you. Amen. Tyrone, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm still learning from you. And
And I'm glad to, and before we close, I'm glad to know that I inspire you in a sense. And I like that, because it's good to know that somebody's adopting to you because you're doing something that's really real.
amen.
And I
Amen.
wouldn't want you to be like me, but I want you to be who you are better than me. And
Right.
that's how it works. And that's how I feel. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And with that,
Everyone, thank you for tuning into Xavier's journey, and I've had the pleasure of having Mr. Tyrone Lowe.
oh, before I leave, y'all can catch me at
Thank you.
lowtyrone@gmail.com. I also play for LWR House Radio every Saturday, every Thursday and Saturday. You go
Mhm.
into Simple Radio, hit LWR House, and I'm there every Thursday from 11 to 1, and our time in the United States, and then 7 o'clock on Saturdays from 7 to 9. And check out the best of house music. And that's it.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And thank you again, Mr. Tyrone Lowe. I appreciate you.
Okay,
God bless.
Zay. Oh, my
God
man, Zay.
bless.
All right, now. Y'all have
All
a
right.
nice night, man. Don't forget
Peace.
to pray tonight. Don't forget to pray tonight.
Right. Right.